everything people can respond to, but then but clearly frame it as, hey, we will move forward if we don't hear back from you, as opposed to, can you please respond, which people may not understand that, you know, the urgency behind it. Or if you frame it that way, people will respond if they truly care about getting involved in the decision that's being made there.
Okay. Good. Mm, okay. I think so. Yeah, the next one is the pull request reviews. I think we already went over yours as part of the scene one.
Maybe one
Uh,
more question on the stale PRs thing.
yeah.
Um, so if the just it's kind of like maybe a nitpicky detail, but if the person is from like Apache point of view, the person is contributing, and then maybe they're like, "Oh, I'm going on vacation. Sorry," but we're like, "Oh, there's only 20 lines really needed to get this thing out." Do we just branch off, and then I know in Git you can make like a
Oh,
co-author or something like that, and just be like, "Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
let me just paste in the last little bit. Like you got to cover one more case, and then co-author merge it."
Yeah, yeah. So there is this thing in GitHub that you can say allow maintainers to edit the PR or something, as long as they have turned this on. We do this all the time. At least this is how I spend a good chunk of my time. Just went in that when we were growing Hoodie, for example. There'll be lots of PRs, and um, I would just like rebase them and just like help them land that in the right sequence, rebase this on top of that and all that. So I think the maintainer should take over, and then as long as it's already there, as long as some people don't want it, they can explicitly disallow, then you can't do anything. And for those, don't we shouldn't ever copy the PR into our own name and do anything like that. As long as it's there, you will IntelliJ has a checkout PR thing. If you go to Hoodie scripts, there's two scripts. There's a checkout PR and there's a push PR. The two scripts that's what I use to check out a PR from upstream. And then the second one, if you run it, it gives you a push command to push to their branch. So you essentially can, and as long as they disallow that explicitly, I think you can just like as maintainers with write access to the repo, try to make forward progress on that. Right, and it will give you the co-authorship. Like they'll attribute their code, they'll attribute, GitHub will do the right thing. So the only thing is, don't create a new copy the thing into your, like, don't create a new PR. That's the main thing. Yeah.
I have a small doubt here regarding the PR on so I'm basically new to this community. So I've been working on one of the issues, and so I've been in touch with Ranga Reddy from the team. So I've been improving on some of the code and the refactorings. So though the issue is assigned on my name, so do I need to consistently comment there on that PR that I'm working on it, or is it obvious that because I'm in conversation already with some of the folks from one house only, so how does that will follow through?
I'll let Tim or Vinesh take this.
Yeah.
You
So
guys are more in the weeds.
I think main thing is always starting with like a GitHub issue. That's the main way of signaling that something is going to be done or something is already on our radar. And then once you're assigned as the owner, um, I think it's also like kind of your responsibility to reply back to comments on the issue. Similarly, within a reasonable time frame. Occasionally, people have asked, for example, to come on to issues, and then we don't hear anything from them, and then we just we'll going back to the original point. Eventually we'll just reassign. We'll move on without that person. We'll reassign it. So you don't necessarily have to be like constantly typing out like, "Hey, I'm working on this." But if someone else comes in and kind of poses a question on the issue, saying, "Hey, is anyone working on this?" Like we expect, I guess, you to chime in. and say, yeah, like I'm making some progress. I think if you put up some like maybe draft PRs as well, like it can, maybe that person can help out as well. Just, more hands make for some lighter work here. But yeah, you don't need to be like constantly saying like here's my update like every day type thing.
All right, yeah. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, and to add on that, like if you're new to the community and like you're working on your first PR, like you can just push out a draft one, and like if you're unclear about something, you can annotate that PR to ask questions, or else you can push it for review, or like you can even use the Slack channel as well to start a discussion thread on that. You're stuck on that PR and you need help. Like there are uh, um, enough people in the Slack channel now to help you if you're stuck. Like
Sure, sure.
especially when you're working on your first PR, I do understand that it's kind of a new code base and it's like difficult to navigate. But yeah,
Sure, sure. So when you say Slack, it means the hoodie channel only, right? Like the hoodie
no,
workspace.
there is an XTable Slack channel which you can access it through the XTable page now. Like I just shared the link for it. Yeah. So if you go to xtable.apache.org, there is a Slack for it.
Okay. Is it okay?
This one basically. I
Okay,
just shared
okay.
my tab as well.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. So Selim actually has been using that Slack to, and we discussed that Parquet source PR there. So that is. Uh, did anyone else have any other PRs to review or discuss about?
I think I saw one bug fix PR I owe someone a review on, but I don't think they're on the call.
Okay, which one was that? The the one which Daniel merged, or a different?
No, it's just a bug fix around table name if pulling from Iceberg HDFS source with no like catalog name specified. Just defaults to path, but if the user supplies a name, we can set it in the metadata. It's pretty straightforward. I just haven't gotten. There's a new test case added recently. It's the last add.
Got it. I think Jalpan worked on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see this. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think there is one copy. Yeah, you can give the next like 15 minutes or so for like we can discuss that. One
Can you
question
check
I had was,
the T?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I
go
think
ahead.
this is for one of the customer. I think last time I mentioned, right? Is there any update on that one? That is XTable incremental generating metadata.
Um, You mean the one that's just like the loop around it?
Yeah, yeah.
No, no updates on that yet.
Okay.
Uh, Renga, are you asking about that question which someone asked
Yeah.
in Slack regarding that S3 and S3A file path?
No, that one like
That
incrementally, yeah. Some customer wants to incrementally generate the metadata for the either Woody or XTable. Currently, we one time run, right, but they want to continuously run the jar one time and generate the metadata. Like how we have like a Delta streamer, right? Woody streamer continuous thing.
okay,
Same for this one as well. Yeah.
yeah, okay, yeah. I think there was a draft PR for that. Okay. We can take it to completion.
Yeah, I just need to rebase it on top of the catalog sync stuff because we changed things around, and then I need to fix up my test case for it.
Okay. Uh, I see Ashwin is also here. Hey, Ashwin.
Hey, good morning.
Yeah, I think like we were just discussing about that deletion vector RFC and like uh, we saw that you addressed all the comments on the RFC and like just wanted to check with you like uh, would you be working on it this week or any other next steps that you want to share?
Um, So, there's some confusion about, I mean, for the scope of this feature. And I was talking to Tim also and trying to resolve as much as possible. So this feature is complex. It touches many parts, and their expectation wise, my expectation was it will grow iteratively. It will develop it iteratively, but uh, still there are a lot of open questions, and I was finding it difficult to make progress. So one of the options I thought was that we'll develop it internally first on our internal fork, and once we have more confidence about how exactly it works, at that time I'll start porting it. If anyone has a different opinion, I mean, I started working on open source first, and then I was porting it on the internal fork, but it was not. It was taking more iterations and more energy, so I switched a strategy there. Tim, we know. Then anyone has any suggestions? I'm happy to change it back.
Yeah, I think like especially because there is so much kind of open and like yeah, it's brand new. I
Yeah,
think for a lot of these things that are brand new, it is easier to kind of do some iterations live with people that you work with like on a day to day versus like us going, conflicting schedules, different companies, stuff like that. I think so. Getting those initial iterations done internally I think, is much more practical. I think it's not as pure open source, but as long as you guys are willing to upstream it and like bring us all up to speed, I think it's good. I think the RFC lays out the vision, and I like it. I think it makes sense to me. So like, I guess if you deviate extremely from the vision, maybe just a heads up, because like that would be yeah, or just like bring us up to speed. I mean, we won't have as much context as you, so like we trust your judgment if it needs to move in a different direction.
yeah. And first of all, thanks for all the comments and helping me improve the feature development as well. I really appreciate that one. But what Vinod just mentioned, I'll let Vinod speak. I think that's another strategy, and I like it also, Vinod. Yeah, it's not odd or like uncommon at all for open source projects to do that, right? Actually, um, we could we take an initial approach, have it like clearly labeled as, let's say, experimental, with caveats that, hey, this could change and this could affect you in these ways, if you choose to adopt this. And then what it actually provides is, it helps the community generally give you like yearly feedback a lot more, and then actually shape that, because in a lot of these cases we end up having a couple of ways to do something, right? And then we are, this way, and then you'll either hear from users one way or the other. So there is essentially value in making a call in a direction, right? And don't have opinions on that, and have it go out in a release as experimental, have people like look at it, provide feedback, and then we can shape it over time. Lots of great examples for this, right? Even Spark's own V2, data source V2 was an experimental. I don't know if it's still experimental, but it was experimental for at least like 3-4 years, right? Because it's like a massive change. So many people have to rewrite all their jobs and blah, blah, blah. But it actually helps in a sense that it's out there. You will see if people are excited by it or not. Maybe they're not as excited as we thought they would be, and then maybe we'll make some changes. That's so we could do this and clearly label them experimental in the documentation, and then but would go one way. I think that's probably a better outcome for XTable as a project in the community. Right.
So one agree with you, 100% agree with you. One caveat is that this will change the public interfaces a little bit. So because we will have to claim that there are new types of data files, and
Yes.
that may not be experimental.
Yes, I think even public APIs, right? There is like evolving. So Hoodie, we have those evolving, mature, stable kind of tags on the APIs as well. So
Okay.
public APIs, and same thing, right? Most projects have this. Like Kafka has this. Like but bunch of projects have this too. We could introduce. Yeah, I think that's always tricky, right? So we could introduce newer methods and deprecate the older ones over time. That's generally how we done it, so that the existing thing keeps working. And then you introduce a new set of methods at some one point where you deem these stable, and then you deprecate those. Um, that's we can handle it that way. Generally speaking, right? I've seen this with both Kafka and Hoodie, which is initially companies contribute contributions. They are built on that company's or that organization's requirements a lot more, as you would naturally expect it to be, right? Most open source is that way. So we initially take it, bake it in as an experimental feature with some like general generalization, right? We into the rest of the code base, and then the roadmap for the feature and how it evolves over time, the APIs, everything, it's a journey from that point on, and it has to from there go from experimental to stable in a way that is, for example, is also backwards compatible with what, let's say, if you're contributing and you have it already working at in Azure, it has to work. You have to have a strategy for also upgrading Azure to the newer thing later on, right? So then it's a little bit of a journey. Right? This is at least I don't claim this to be the perfect whatever, but this is at least what we've done, at least from my experience.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth considering. I'll give it a shot, and maybe others, Vinesh, others in the call, if they have any any opinion, let me know now.
I think yeah, like maybe we can take that pair with like the data file changes and add those annotations, for example. That way we set the expectation, like set evolving or something on it, because it is evolving. We're an evolving project, right? So like, but maybe we just set those expectations up front and then give ourselves the freedom to move a little bit more fluidly on that. I think that's a great idea. I like that.
Perfect. So maybe I'll start with that PR first. The PR is already out, and I'll refine it with these tags. And then all the other PRs which are based on this basic PR, I'll involve those as well. Sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
Right. And Thanks again, Ashwin, for working on the. Be cool to have that support. Um, yeah. Any other open questions from others?
Maybe while we're thinking about it, uh, do we want to start labeling other things as evolving or experimental for like some of the catalog sync stuff? I mean, for the policies, things and stuff, we just have a model. We're still playing around with like what that would actually look like to see if that model works. Um, it's probably be good open source stewards and add that in a few places. I can add an action item for Niche Night to look
Yeah.
at some of the stuff we added recently.
Yeah.
And Tim, do you think this also overlaps, the experimental overlaps with the modularization of XTable? Are there any interfaces which will evolve because of it?
Oh yeah, well, I have to change like all the package names. That was a question that's going to be a discussion item for next time.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the I'm like, oh, I don't even know what the proper protocol is with that. So once I have them all laid out, I can do that. I don't think I had to change any of the actual like code ones. I had to change a bunch of test stuff, but that was it. To make the integration tests all run together and stuff. And I added a new test suite that runs basically the command line commands to experiment with the packages themselves.
Got it. Yeah, and just for
I could,
everyone's benefit, Iceberg, the deletion vector Iceberg v3 is already out. Iceberg now supports, it's public now. So Iceberg, the 1.9 version, it supports roaring bitmaps like Delta Lake. So from XTable, the user should get an opportunity to generate either the positional deletes or the roaring bitmaps. And that's a different version-based target.
Okay. Yeah. Is that do you know if they're gonna go one way or the other? For example, are the non-delta, like, or I don't know how to
Positional
put it,
deletes.
frame
the
this.
code.
Yeah. So is everybody like, Snowflake, AWS, everybody's gonna go through V3? Is this like agreed upon? So can we ignore positional deletes is basically my question. So we do
Yeah, so,
one thing.
so what is happening, Vinod, is the positional deletes are now marked deprecated. Okay. And they have released for support for roaring bitmaps. The clients have not upgraded to the
Yeah.
latest one yet. It will take another year or so.
Okay.
So, for example, Snowflake will continue to read the positional deletes only. They will not support roaring bitmaps, or they don't support it today. I don't know what they will do tomorrow.
No, they don't. So my point is, I actually don't see a bunch of MOR usage in Iceberg yet. So that's where I'm asking this question, which is, do we even need to care? So my point is, we should probably do V3 and then bet on that, and then let's see if it's a prioritization thing. Maybe we can see if customers show up for or users show up, user asks show up, something like that, and do it based on demand. I don't know, like, what do you guys feel about it?
Okay. Yeah, that could be an option.
Again, I don't have hard data, but very anecdotally, we don't I interact with a bunch of these vendors as well. I don't get the vibe that there is actual production installs. Delta MOR was just like GA last summer, so I think we still may be in like very early game here just to support one. Right?
I can tell you all of Fabric uses MOR.
Okay.
For
Delta
Delta
MOR.
Lake. Yeah, Delta
Okay.
MOR. Yeah.
Which is still okay because that's the roaring bitmap thing, right? That's V3.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. That's right.
Okay. All right. I don't have any like religious opinions. I'm just trying to see if we can do something to save time. That's
Yeah, I think that's a very good suggestion as well. Because Iceberg PR I had not created yet. That's still in my private repo.
yeah.
So it could be behind the
Especially if
flag.
deprecated that, right? So I think that was like the delete push-in thing is like a Hive relic, right? It's like from the Hive acid times. It doesn't really, uh, yeah. So I was kind of expecting that anyway. So if they're deprecated already, so maybe we should think about what we support. Of course, Delta we should support. Then it means we need to do one thing. That's it, right? If they're actually compatible. Oh wait, but you said they're actually not storage compatible, right? Are they? Like you said, the puffin file versus the .bin file. So so bits on disk. They're actually not the same. Still,
The bits on disk, the byte array on the disk is the same. The file in which those bytes arrays are present, those are different.
correct. But the puffin thing is like a container, right? It's like a container. So it has its own format. So it's not like so the array may be same, but you still need a different file reader to actually parse that thing.
Correct.
Okay. Do you know any indication of whether Delta Lake is going to do that? Do
I've
puffin
heard
or
that is what that is some. So Delta is one like how they will evolve. It's very hard for me at least to comment on it.
Right.
They can change that, trust me. But there was in one of the meetings, it was expressed that they want to move closer to the puffin as well because stats
Okay.
improvement is everyone's goal.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. So Puffin, so it's actually very similar to the Hoodie lock format. I don't know if you're familiar with the Hoodie lock format. It's basically a header, like like some magic header, something. It has like a container to add like blobs in there.
Yep.
It's based. So yeah, I think it's kind of they're all moving towards that like kind of model, I guess. Okay. All right, sounds good. I still don't. I again, no religious opinions from me. Just trying to see where we can avoid work.
This is recorded. We'll
It's fine. But what I'm stating are facts. So
no worries. Yeah, but thanks for the opinion. I think it helps a lot.
okay, all right. All right. I need to drop. But serious. Great seeing everybody here. Bye.
Posted a quick link in the chat for folks. If you're in the Bay Area, there's an open lake house meetup. I think it's down on the peninsula. Yeah, in Mountain View. It's March 11th. Check it out. Some of the Databricks folks, we can interrogate them on the Puffin file. Just kidding. Say, hey guys, you guys are gonna support the same file, make our lives a little easier. But yeah, it'd be great. I think for folks that are in the area, it could be a great way just to figure out who else. Yeah, what are other people using? People using MOR. Just a little field survey. Yeah, I don't know. Daniel, are you in the Bay or are you in Seattle?
I'm in Seattle.
Okay. Oh, there's an iceberg meetup coming up in Seattle.
Yeah, I heard it's like next week or this week.
I think it's this week.
This week,
Oh.
27th, Thursday.
Options. Yeah.
I'm
Are you?
I'm the organizer for that
Oh,
meet, but
cool.
I'm in Bay Area. I'm not going to be there.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had an injury, so I'm not able to travel these days. So
Mhm.
Yeah, there will be one of our colleagues may attend, Ryle and Kyle as well. I think may be there. So yeah, it'd be a good way to meet other people working on similar stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
in fact, we are going to talk about XTable, and so there's a talk which is about XTable architecture and how Fabric is deploying XTable and at scale, and what are the challenges we face. So that is what the Microsoft One House joint talk is about.
That's cool. Yeah, I will be there too. Looking forward to your sharing.
Yeah. I'll actually be there for that Databricks Open Lakehouse meetup. So yeah, if anyone is joining from the Bay Area, we to meet.
Cool.
Okay, cool. I think we're out of time as well. If there are no open questions, we can close. Okay. Thanks everyone for
Thanks.
joining.
Take care.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Have a nice day.
Bye.